Hey everybody, welcome back to A Brief on Grief. Today I just realized as I sat down to record this is the 100th video for A Brief on Grief. So yay, a little mini celebration. And I thought it was kind of fun because I had this topic in mind for this next video and I thought, well, that's kind of fun. It's a unique moment of 100 videos and this is kind of a unique topic. I have talked about it once before in this series, but yeah, it's pretty unique and rare in this series, but it deserves so much attention and so much appreciation, and so much awareness. It's so needed because it's a topic that we don't talk about a lot. And I'm talking about sex. So we're talking about sex today. And this has been a topic I've been really resonating with, specifically the grief that we carry around sex. I mean, it is such a huge topic. I will not be able to address it all in this video, but honestly, we are not only carrying the experiences and the grief from the experiences that we've experienced in our own lives, but we carry things from our ancestors as well, and from our parents, and from situations and stuff we see around us in culture. And then we're programmed to believe a lot of different things, a lot of different truths about sex from our media, from just messages around us, from health professionals and medical professionals. So two things that are inspiring me to create this video today. One is I've been vibing on this topic, vibing, since February, actually, since I did a Valentine's love themed event in February. And this topic kind of came up because I was celebrating the love in my life. And then I was also at the same time feeling a little sad about the areas that were stuck in my life. One of them I'm still moving towards is just, yeah, it's okay to say. I was dating a little bit last year in the summer and fall, and then I kind of fell out of the groove of it, and I thought, well, what's this about? And in kind of reflecting on that, I realized some of the fears that were limiting me from continuing to do it, and one of them was related to intimacy and sex. So much grief in me related to, I won't go on to the relationships beforehand, but to hone in on so much grief related to my experiences with my ex-husband, and just so much pain involved in this area in our relationship that I was like, I am not willing to repeat this again. But at the same time, I was like, how do I ensure that I don't repeat this, right? So one of those huge topics. And what I realized in February is that, yep, there's some big fears around this and some bigs, I don't want to do this again, but feeling stuck about where to go from there. So I realized that over the last 5 years, as I've been exploring oodles of like trauma and grief related to all different aspects of my life, this is a part, as you can see by the title of this video, that was kind of swept under the carpet, kind of swept under the rug because it was so big and I didn't know where to go with it. So this is what I've been uncovering over the last couple months, is exploring this. And of course, you know me, as I've spoke about this in the universe, in other videos, when I feel stuck, I go to the universe. So in February, I kind of went, universe, yeah, this is big and huge and scary. What do I do with it? Please help bring stuff to me that's going to help me move forward in this. And on came a profound book, which is another reason that it inspired this video today. So it's called Come As You Are. I didn't get. So that's Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski. And I've had quite a few people tell me about this book over the last decade, actually. I was reflecting, telling a friend this the other day. And I'm finally reading it, and it is profound. So yes, the topic, as you can see from the top cover, it does hone in more around female sexuality. But man, is this like a huge, powerful shame resilience book for sex in general, whether you're female or you're male, or different gender, or any combination of different genders related to that. No matter what your sexual orientation is or your gender, this is a powerful book. Because what it's speaking to is it's speaking about are different levels of desire, right? And that's not always female, male, right? So when two people together, so whether we're talking about non-sexual connection or we're talking about sexual connection, when you put two people together, there's always a different level. There's usually a different level, differing level of desires. So one person in the relationship will desire more connection and the other person will desire less connection. And there's like a dynamic that goes on. They talk about like it as a chasing dynamic in the book. But what I coined it as, because I coined mine around how painful it was, I see it because that's what I experienced in my previous relationships, especially with my marriage, is that shame blame cycle. That when somebody desires something and the other person doesn't, and this dynamic we can go through about like who's wrong, who's right, who's faulty, who's not, who's broken, who's not, and that push and pull dynamic between the two people. And it's so incredibly painful and is loaded with so much shame for both sides, right? Because the side that wants to connect is wondering, well, why doesn't this person want to connect with me? So this is either non-sexually or sexually, physically with your bodies. And I'm wondering, does this person care about me? Like, what did I do something wrong that they don't want to connect with me? So all these doubts and shames and fears in that person. And then the person that has the lower desire is kind of like, well, I don't feel it right now, and doesn't want to do something they don't feel like it. So they may feel a little bit of pressure, but then they also feel like, well, if this person doesn't feel loved, if I'm not doing this, then that feels like you're getting backed into a corner, because you're like, my goodness, I love this person, but I don't desire what they're looking for right now. But so it's just so you can feel, again, a lot of shame, and you can feel like you're not being a loving partner towards this person. You're not doing enough to show them that you love them. So it can be this painful, and that is very an oversimplistic description of that dynamic. But I know many people, if not every single person listening to this video, knows that shame, blame, like dynamic, that painful chasing cycle, is like they call it in the book. That is what I'm not willing to repeat in my relationship, or any relationships after this. And this is what this book is helping me ground in, because it is phenomenal. I could go on forever and ever, but besides shame resilience, it does this in a way that, because it's normalizing the person that has the higher desire, it's normalizing the person that has the lower desire. And it's talking about the science behind that, right? It's talking about the science and the anatomy behind our sex. It's talking about how sex is not just about our physical bodies, it's about the context that we're in, right? So our environmental, external context, as well as the internal context, right? How we're feeling that day. And our desires can literally like change within a day, within an hour, right? So the same person, say you have the same couple where one maybe is more typically lower desire, I got it the wrong way, higher desire, and one is lower desire, that can swap in the same relationship, right? So you can have like a different dynamic at another point in that relationship, or you can kind of have that repetitive where one's more lower and the other is higher. Either way, it can be painful, and it can be painful to navigate and understand and try to empathize with each other. And this book also goes through that. It goes through conversations. It goes through fabulous case studies on real life stuff. It's done with a humor. It's hilarious humor. I could talk forever about the book, but just go and read it. Men, women, go and read it. It's phenomenal. We have grief related to sex. It is stuff from our experience. It is stuff from our past, from our parents. It is stuff that we carry from our ancestors. And it limits absolutely everything that we're doing, because it has to do with intimacy always. And that dynamic and the power. I want to touch on something that I learned from another book, but basically it's our sexual energy is our creative manifesting power, our vitality energy. When we're not able to play and experience that sexual energy and use it either in a dynamic with sharing and connecting intimately with somebody else with our bodies, or using that energy to transmute into creative energy or creative like passions and projects that we put out into the world. Those are two uses of sexual energy, and both of those are so important for us thriving in our lives. So if we're missing that in our lives, it is a longing. And ultimately, like, that's the other video that I made on sex, is a longing for that. I made it about a year and a half ago or so. So yeah, a longing, but at the same time, a fear about stepping forward. And in the way that I understood my sexuality and desires and stuff before. But this book has been amazing for helping me understand and then take another step more confidently into having conversations. Again, practicing that already, talking on this video, talking with my friends about it, about sex, where I've never done before, again, because we have so much shame about talking about sex. Yeah. This video could go on and on and on. It's important. I'm acknowledging in this 100th video of A Brief on Grief that sex grief is important to acknowledge. Intimacy grief is important to acknowledge. That painful dynamic that we have in relationships, whether it's platonic relationships or in intimate relationships, it exists and it's painful. And there's grief and lots of emotions related to that in that. So honoring that today on this 100th episode of A Brief on Grief. And I will put a link to this book that I've been raving about in the video below. Okay, I'm rolling back the carpet and I'm continuing to look at this deeper. Good luck on your journey out there, and I'll see you next time.